Jim Myles is a retired federal judge and an Air Force pilot, and he's now trying to bring some common sense back to the 11th Congressional District in Fairfax County, Virginia, as a Republican nominee for Congress. Mr. Myles, good to talk to you again. Thanks for joining us.
Well, good morning, Larry. Thanks for having me.
Well, how's it going here as you make the case against Representative Jerry Connolly?
Well, it's really going well out on the campaign trail. People are very angry and they're very frustrated, and they just feel abandoned by my opponent. He's kind of adopted the far left radical agenda, the Biden, Pelosi, and Connolly agenda here, and it's just left the people of Fairfax County alone. They're looking at inflation that's out of control. Gas prices have come down a little bit, but we all know they're going to edge back up soon. And again, our schools, a border crisis, crime. There's just so many issues, and the Democrat policies are the cause of so many problems. And regrettably, these Democrat-led policies impact Republicans, independents, and Democrats as well. There's no immunity from bad policy.
I'm interested to hear what you do see. What are you hearing from voters is top of mind? Like, is inflation starting to reduce the focus on the economy? Obviously, it's back to school time in Fairfax County and in Virginia. Is that what are voters pressing on for you to talk about?
Well, I still think inflation is really the top issue here. It dipped just a little bit. But I mean, families, they're really having trouble just making ends meet. The $1.9 trillion original package that my opponent favored. And I asked people, did you ask for this? What's in it that you're getting? What have you seen? And the answer is none of that. What I'm reading now is there's been billions of dollars of fraud, which is not unexpected. And again, this has fueled the inflation. So one would think, well, you'd catch on and maybe change direction. And instead, they just passed another $740 billion package. And again, Biden, Pelosi, Connolly, my opponent, all favor that. And what's that do? It's going to they called it the Inflation Reduction Act. And then I think they had to change names because that was just ridiculous on its face. And if you look at it, it adds $7,500 tax credits, tax rebates for the people that are well off enough to pay $70,000 for an electric car. And then, again, another 87,000 IRS agents are the plan under there. And I look at that and I just say, come on, people, Republicans, Democrats, independents, there's not that many billionaires out there. What they're going to do is they're going to go after the people. And especially here in Fairfax County, you're an Uber driver or you've got your own business. So that's where the money is, and they're going to need money. And I guess my last comment on that, I kind of look at, reading the Washington Times today, they're not even able to fill current IRS jobs. So the 87,000, that's what they're going to do. Who knows the quality of agents that they're going to end up getting, assuming that they can hire them. And it's really it's ironic, again, a very poorly planned piece of legislation, and the implementation of it, again, will be, I think, a real disaster, especially for the people here in Fairfax County. We're more of an affluent suburb, certainly an area, and this would be prime area to try to reap benefits from IRS oversight.
I'm curious, Mr. Myles, Jerry Connolly seems to be the epitome of sort of the safe, protected congressman who really doesn't have to pay much attention to, the whole all politics is local situation because, come on, he's congressman for life, right? The education issue, the school board issue, the fact that all of those affluent suburbanites in Fairfax County that you just mentioned are actually seeing their kids' school standards drop through the floor, and the tone in the schools, the concern over violence in the schools, this is not what they pay taxes for. Are you able to sort of speak to those parents, the parents that, sure, maybe vote Democrat usually, but now it's affecting their kids and it's affecting their neighborhoods, and you're not getting any answers from that party and certainly not from Mr. Connolly?
Oh, definitely. I couldn't agree more. Parents across the district here are getting very upset and very worried about the future for their children. You just look at the statistics here. The Fairfax schools lost nearly 10,000 students, test scores down 30% or more. The number of kids reading and writing and grade levels are just dropping significantly, and they're trying to redo the measures just so it doesn't look so bad. And you read about the teacher shortages. Well, one can only wonder how imposing this radical leftist agenda with gender identities, et cetera, is driving teachers out. I know if I was someone of faith, to have to abide by this or face some kind of discipline, to me would be quite troubling. And when you put all that together, it's just creating a real recipe for continued failure of our schools here in Fairfax. And I think it's really sad because when I moved here from San Diego, my wife and we had a 2-year-old, part of the reason we settled in Fairfax was because of the outstanding schools. I mean, they were nationally recognized. Yep. And now, under my opponent's leadership in the school board here, the quality, they're becoming second and third tier. People are actually, I've been out on the stump moving away from Fairfax County that have younger children because the quality of education here is getting so bad. And there's really no plan. I've been to the school board meetings, and they're more worried about social engineering, political indoctrination, sexualization, than actually remedying the deficiencies here and getting kids that may have fallen a little bit behind in COVID back up to grade level and beyond. We need to return to academic excellence here, and that's just not their focus. Yeah. I guess to me, on the political side, I look at my opponent. He stands with the teachers' unions. And if you vote for me, if you elect me, I stand with parents. I think parents have the right to educate their children, and it's an absolute right. And I stand with parents. And that's
Hallelujah.
what
Well, you're preaching to the choir here. I hope that the choir gets bigger out there in Fairfax County in the 11th Congressional District. I mean, please, we just found out that a convicted sexual predator was given safe harbor in the Fairfax County public school system, and they only did something about it when the media focused on it. Jim Myles wants to be your new congressman. It might be time to give him a look. It's mylesforcongress.com. That's Myles with a Y, mylesforcongress.com. Thanks, Jim. We'll talk to you again.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate your time.